Thank you very much, Kerry. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. As I said in the intro, you've had many, many failures, and we love to see failure as a learning opportunity. And sometimes in the moment, it hurts. It really hurts and kicks us in the guts, and we kind of, doubt whether we can get back up. But we can, and they're great opportunities. So at the moment, you've got the rapid transformational reprogramming system, and that took a long time to get to. What happened before that?
When I was a kid, I was a self-study. I started university to become a programmer, but it didn't resonate with me studying that. It really resonated just studying on my own, do some stuff. But going to university, seeing so many subjects that I didn't even care for in our system here, it's like you don't have electives at the beginning. It's just they throw everything at you. You got to study. So I really struggled for many years. I did like 3 or 4 times first year, kind of the first semester, and I couldn't pass. I was struggling a lot. So I started doubting if that was the route that I was wanting to go because, although I was working very good, I was making tons of money. At that time, when I was 18, I was making nearly the amount of money my dad was making and him working at Ford Motor Company as an operator there. But he has been there for, 30 years, 25 years. And I was making nearly the same amount of money he was making. It was unbelievable. I was kind of a guy that he would go from interview to interview saying, those guys are paying me X amount of money. So if you offer me more, I'm going to move here and work here. If not, I'm not moving. It was just living the dream, quote unquote. That's what I thought.
Yep.
But something didn't resonate inside of me. And I quit that and I went to live to the States, to that time in California. I want to work to a ski area as a lift operator, earning $5 an hour. So making tons of money, living in the city and not happy. Like I talk to a lot of people and they say like, yeah, when I have this amount of money, I'm going to be happy.
Yep.
And it makes me giggle inside of me because I used to make so much money when I was a kid and I wasn't happy. So back then I already realized that money wasn't the big thing that was going to make me happy. Although, yeah, we wanted and we needed to live, pay taxes and pay bills, whatever. It wasn't going to make me happy. So I went to the States and there I started thinking of different way of starting businesses because I didn't want to work for somebody else. I wanted to work for my own.
Yep.
But as you mentioned, I failed many times. I started something, it didn't work. I invented back then, we're talking about, 2000, 1999. I kind of invented, it was kind of a Google, but for adventure, tourism and rock climbing and doing all these things in nature because I loved it. So I started looking around the world who offered rock climbing, who offered kayaking or things like that. And I did a database. It wasn't very big, but it was quite nice around different things around the world where you could do different things and you had discounts and things like that. Well, I got a virus got into this account and it deleted everything. So I lost all the information that went into the drain. It didn't work. And I kept on going. I kept on trying different things, but nothing seemed to work. It was struggle after struggle, failure after failure.
It's so important that we really follow our heart, and find what's that thing that lights me up. I'm surprised you're not doing a job more in nature, actually, but maybe that's just your playground.
I did it for many years, Karen. The truth is I did that job for many years. I started a training facility in 2003, training facility in emergency care. And I loved offering wilderness emergency care. So I went into the wild and offered training. And I did that for many years. I spent 15 days in a row, 12 days in a row in nature, teaching people how to rescue, how to take care of somebody that got injured in the mountains, in the desert, whatever, in a remote area. So I did that for many years. But after a while, it was, living in a camping site and a tent and things like that. So it's like as I grew older, it's like I still love nature, but I want to live it in a different way, ski area, getting a lift and going up, not having to hike up the mountain all the time.
You've only just sort of really locked yourself into this rapid transformational reprogramming in the last few years. And prior to that, before you actually stumbled upon it and said, that's it, and I want to talk about that discovery too, were you at a low point, that you were saying to your wife, I can't do this anymore? Did you experience that?
Yeah, a lot of that for many years. Yeah. I even got into a very dark place. I started a marriage that wasn't working, but we started just to make it work because we needed to make work our marriage. So I was dating a woman. She wanted to have plans together. We weren't a good fit, but we couldn't split because in a way, we felt that we needed that love from each other. Like we weren't loving ourselves, so we needed that love from each other. So we both embarked in this journey as a marriage, and we just destroyed it, both of us. And it was a mess. My company wasn't doing well. It was barely making it. So I hit pretty dark places. I didn't do it, but I started thinking like, how could I take my life? I was thinking I was living near the train state, like a train, the train rails. And I was thinking of just jumping in front of a train because that was going to be the fastest and easiest quote unquote way of taking my life and not suffering or anything. Because I had that thought a couple of times because nothing was working. My marriage was falling apart, so I was a failure as a guy because my marriage was falling apart. I wasn't taking it well with my friends. My family, they weren't supporting the marriage. They weren't supporting me at all. So I felt alone. They were still there, but I didn't feel it, you know?
Mm.
So all of that made me feel so much loneliness that I just wanted to take my life and just get rid of it. I was tired. But I kept on trying. And it was in 2009 that I started working with a mentor coach, spiritual teacher, that she just changed my life. This is where all that came today. Everything came from that starting point back then. We go through things. I go into the States to work at a ski area at $5 an hour. Like people would say, you're crazy. What are you doing? Now, as I look back, how I can connect the dots,
Yeah.
everything brought me to be right here where I am right now.
Yeah.
Even, quitting my amazing paying job, even destroying my marriage, even whatever I went through struggling. Like I tell people, a couple of years ago, I was scammed $10,000.
Mm.
And it was the best thing that could happen to me.
Yeah.
Back then, I felt bad. Don't get me wrong. I felt bad. I felt a failure. I had failed my family. I felt really bad. But when I started working on what was going on inside of me, what were the negative, limiting, and false beliefs this experience was bringing up, was surfacing, I started learning so much and growing that I tell you, Karen, I would go back and do exactly the same things again. I don't regret anything because all of those things brought me exactly when I could connect those dots. So many times, as you said, when we're going through struggles, they're just bringing things that we need to deal with to get lost our false self to become our true self. When we stay suffering in the lows is because we're holding on into something that we shouldn't be holding on. So if I'm feeling pain, yes, the pain is there. But as I start suffering the pain, what's happening is I'm holding on to a negative, limiting, or false belief around something specific. Like again, my marriage, it wasn't working. It was painful, of course, but there was suffering.
Yeah.
Why? Because if I quit that marriage, I felt like I was a loser. I was a failure in life because I couldn't break up that marriage. I was supposed to stay married for the rest of my life. I didn't even know I had that program in my mind. So if I broke up that marriage, I was going to, of course, suffer for the rest of my life because I screwed up in my marriage. But it was the best thing that could happen because it wasn't going for either of us.
Yeah.
So holding on to that belief that I'm going to be a screw up for the rest of my life if I finish this marriage, made me stay. So the lows that I was going through, I was so low and I couldn't get out of there because I was afraid of being a failure for ending this marriage. So we're holding on to something that we're ready to let go. That's why the challenge comes our way, because we're ready to let go. So first of all, we need to understand that negative feelings, negative emotions are not bad. Since we were kids, Karen, our parents would tell us, if you're afraid, Karen, don't be scared. Don't be afraid. Don't be angry. Don't be this. Don't be that. So they were attaching something negative to your being.
Yep.
So as you didn't want your being to be something wrong, what did you do? You started repressing your emotions. So that's why most people struggle with their emotions, because they cannot connect with them, because they have the false belief that if I connect with my emotions, people are going to reject me. And it happens, don't get me wrong. That's a false belief. And on top of that, it's confirmed, because if I start talking about how sad I feel, how depressed I am, a lot of people are going to move away from me. Oh, Tommy's so negative. The truth, if it's bothering you that I'm so negative, the truth is that you are not dealing with your negativity, and it bothers you that I'm dealing with my negativity.
It's only because of people like you, that are out there training people in mindset, that we can have opportunities, to break through and say, oh my God, I do have something. I can do something. Here I am to give my gift to the world. And I think that if we get to the end of our lives and we haven't fulfilled our, sharing of our gift, what a waste of a life. Where energy that is incredible, and harnessed in the right way, we have such a big impact. Now, when you're working with people, what's the most common barrier or challenge or blockage, whatever, that they present with?
The main things we see normally, they can change a little bit, but I'm not good enough.
Yep.
I'm inadequate. There's something wrong with me. You can tell yourself I'm good enough, but it's not going to happen. Why? Because there are past experiences that made you believe that you're not good enough. So instead of talking to you today, you need to go talk to your younger self from your past, understand what he went or she went through when you were a kid. Why did that belief come up? And explain to that person what happened. We have tons of events in our life where we created these negative, limited, and false beliefs.
And I was born on Saturday, and it says, Saturday's child works hard for a living. Now, when I was a kid, I heard that, and nobody gave this to me. I took it on myself, and I grabbed that, and I went, oh, well, I have to work hard. I've got to work hard, or else I won't get any money. But I keep noticing that it just keeps recurring, and I have to keep booting it out and saying, no, that's not the truth.
Go find that little Karen where you created it. Go find her.
Yeah.
She needs to listen to it, not you today. This is the thing, Karen. I hear a lot of people doing that. Oh, I got to get rid of this thought. I got to get rid of this thought. That hot thought has partly truth in it. So if I repress it, the thought it goes away, but it goes back into the subconscious mind. That's why you cannot let it go. So what you need to do is face it. Okay, when I was a kid back then, Karen, you got to see that little Karen that she started believing that she needed to work because she was born on Saturday. So for what they were saying, okay, mom and dad were always right, quote unquote, always right for us as kids. So if they said that, it should be true. Maybe they were just joking, but you took it as the truth. So you need to talk to little Karen from your past, that 8-year-old, 6-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever. Ask her, hey, what's going on? What did you hear? I heard that Saturday kids have to work hard. Okay, I want to tell you something. That is just a saying that people use. It's not true. There's no need to work hard. You can work smart. You can do whatever and start changing that kind of narrative that you created back then, because it's imprinted in your subconscious mind. And you need to change it with little Karen that created that, not you today. That's why you keep holding back onto that thought. And as you start reprogramming little Karen and working every day with her, a couple of minutes, I'm not talking about hours, I'm talking about a couple of minutes every day, finding that little Karen and showing her that you don't need to work hard, that you need to work smart, or whatever you want to create this new narrative, and prove it through actions, because it's not about words, it's about also actions that are more important. As you prove that to that little Karen and you're there for her and you show her that you don't need to work hard, you need to work smart and blah, I guarantee that thought is going to start dissolving. But why? Because you're going to the root where it was created. If I try here, it's going to keep coming back because it comes from here. It's like, imagine this, I see a light and I want to cover it up. Yeah, I cover it up, but it's still there.
Yeah.
I cannot see it, but it's still there.
Tell us about your book, Mindset Secrets. Is there any tips out of the book that you want to share? Yeah.
So again, the belief system, Karen, as I was saying, we got to question our belief system. All our habits, whatever we're struggling today, is a repeating pattern from our past. So again, I was saying that example of that kid that I was telling. She felt a fraud at school, and now she felt a fraud at work. So whatever we're struggling today is just a replica, that's a replay of a memory from our past that just changed. The memory is the same, the emotions and the feeling and everything, but the actors around you have changed. It's the exact same thing. You see people that go into a business, they go to a job, they have a crappy leader, crappy boss, they move to another job, and then now they find another crappy job, and they move to another job and they find another crappy job, crappy boss. So they keep repeating the same pattern. They go into a relationship, they break up, they go into another relationship, they find the same exact patterns. because the patterns are not to do with that person. They got to do with me. I'm repeating them in my mind, and then I see them projected on the outside. So everything that's happening to us on the outside is a replica of what's going on in our subconscious mind. So whenever you're saying this person is making me feel blah, Karen, you are making me feel like a piece of crap. What I'm saying is three fingers pointing back at me. I am feeling myself that I'm crap, and you are reminding me that.
I read it, in an hour. It's a fantastic little book, and it's full of stuff. And it doesn't mean that once you read it, you're just going to transform. That's life doesn't work like that. But reading it over a few times, and even just a little gold nugget each time, this is how we grow. And life's not about fixing yourself in 2 minutes. That's not what life is. Life's a journey, and making improvements as we go. So I love it. I think it's a great little book. It's wonderful. And I love what you said before about the, positive, the toxic positivity, and I agree with that. I do have people that I know that are always just be positive, not to me, but I hear them saying, just be positive, and you can't always be freaking positive. And if you're always positive, you're right. You're not looking at the shadow at all. You're just living in some dream world, and life's not like that, or can be, but it's not going to get you anywhere. So this podcast is to get off the bench, to inspire people to get off the bench. Now you're living in the snow with your family, with freedom, with flexibility, doing what you love. And, there's been all the struggles, which we all know that, and you can't have the perfect life with no rain, no rainbow. But a lot of people give up before they reach that thing, right? And so this podcast is to inspire people to get off the bench, do that thing. What advice would you give them if they're feeling like nothing's working? I just can't get myself over that line. What advice would you give?
Keep trying, guys. Keep trying. Like, we all been in the dark, and the dark on the other side is the light. We just need to break that wall, and the wall might be a little bit thicker, a little bit thinner, whatever. And so many people, they're about to make the breakthrough and they give up.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are amazing beings with so much potential, spiritual being with so much potential that it's within us. The quick story that my mentor, coach, spiritual teacher taught us is that we are like golden statues that had fallen into the mud, had collected mud, and now we forgot we were golden. And now we see ourselves as this piece of mud, dirty, ugly, uneven, whatever, there's something wrong with us.
Yeah.
But as we chop off the mud, and it's going to take time, it's going to take, as you said, pain, darkness, whatever. Each darkness is a piece of mud we're chopping off to then be able to recognize the golden statue within us.
I always teach people we're all born with this beautiful big diamond, and I say diamond, you're saying God's right here, and as we get negative comments, and as we like things screw up, and as we feel bad, it just gets covered in this greasy gunky shit, and eventually we cannot see that diamond, we cannot believe in it, and it takes years to just keep scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing and scrubbing. But the core thing is that we know the diamond's there. If we know that diamond's there, it gives us hope. It gives us something to keep trying for. I've loved talking to you. I just absolutely.
Same here. I love this conversation. Thank you.
Oh,
So the comment would be, we are amazing beings here on earth. We're a piece of the universe that he is manifested as a human being here. So whatever we're struggling, although it seems that it's not going to end, it's going to be too hard for us, we're not going to make it. If it's happening in our life, the universe has your back. The universe knows that you're ready to go through that challenge. That's why it's putting it in front of you. The universe doesn't put a challenge in front of us if we're not ready.
Now, where can people find you?
Yeah, they could put Tommy Walker, Mind Engineer, in Facebook. They're going to find me. They can look up unleashingyourmindset.com. Unleashingyourmindset.com is the website. So main things that I'm using is Facebook and the website. So Tommy Walker, the Mind Engineer, they're going to find me in Google and things like that. So I had a lot of free material. If you guys want to know, I got the book. And now if you're not an entrepreneur and you're not resonating with the Mind Secret for Entrepreneurs. I'm about to release Mind Secrets for Life, for Success, for Happiness, whatever it is. I'm still deciding, but it's going to be very, very different, similar content, but directed to people that are not entrepreneurs so that can resonate. But it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
But it's going to be nice. So those are the ways to contact me. Again, the book is like $6. It's not much. You can get it in digital version and start reading it. And it has a lot of value. I have put together my 21 years as an entrepreneur, 10 years as a mindset coach. The same exact things that I teach the people I work with one-on-one, I put them in the book. It's a little bit more, summary, but it's still in the book. Easy reading, as Karen said, 84 page, I think it has. Really easy to read, and it has lots of golden nuggets in there.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Karen, for having me over. Thank you for your audience, of course, for listening. And I really appreciate this. It was an amazing talk with you. Thank you, Karen. You're an amazing woman.
You're amazing too. Thanks heaps, Tommy. Loved it. See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya.